My name is Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris. And you're listening to the Guys with Issues podcast.
All right, well, we got that.
Good work, boys.
So this is issue. Are we calling them issues?
Yeah, we should. No, we really should call them issues. 'cause
Okay.
I think that.
So we'll call this issue 0 instead of episode 0.
Right.
We could,
Since we're talking about comics, I feel like it makes sense.
yeah, why not?
Why not?
So this is issue 0 because that's what we're going to call it since it's
Right.
Guys with Issues. And issue 0 is basically an introduction to who we are and why we're doing this podcast. Right?
Of course.
right.
Of course.
So,
Everybody needs one of those.
It's always good to get the groundwork in, you know?
Right.
Good foundation.
lay the foundation. Oh,
Yes.
there it is. We're
Yes.
already in tune.
Just think, when we've been, podcasting for 6 years, we can come back to this episode and go, what were we thinking?
And we'll go, oh, that's why it's not on the list anymore. We just pulled it out. So we might as well share a little bit about who we are. So who are we? Who are we in this greater world
And here
of
we didn't want to talk
comics
about-
and the United States and the world?
He didn't want to get philosophical. And yet he was like, who are we?
I'm just a regular guy trying to make a podcast.
Just remember, bosses don't like employees who are late, and heroes don't get paid in cash.
I don't know what that's from. I feel like I should know what
Don't
that's
worry,
from.
it's not from. It's actually not from anything.
So anyway, well, it should be, because that's
It's from
really
an
good.
AI-generated Spider-Man review.
Chat GDP.
That is amazing.
GPT.
Yeah, no, I've always liked comics.
And
in
you're
the
Pat.
sense of, well, I just said that in the beginning.
I
They should know me by my voice.
I thought you were going to say they should know me by now.
They should know me by now.
We have a solid minute and a half
Solid.
connection.
Anyway, but I've never really read a lot of comics, so I guess I've liked the idea of comics more. I've watched a lot of the comic book movies, but like I said, never read a lot of them. So that's where I am when it comes to comics. I work in technology. That's about as far as I want to go with that. So I'm a little on the geeky / nerdy side,
Which is why we're using your audio equipment.
which is why we're using my audio equipment
And your house.
in my house, right? Which at some point I might want to get the sound dampener foam things for this.
Also,
Yeah.
carpet, moving blankets. I mean, if you wanted to make it look good,
Right.
you could do that. But
I also
if you-
have carpet
which is one of the reasons this sounds much better than our secret episode.
for a secret episode that will never be
the
released.
fabled episode.
Unless you subscribe. No. Yeah, no, that one was.
I mean, we could easily re-record it. And
We could.
It would be fine.
I mean,
Yes.
the way it stands now,
It's not horrible.
it's functional.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yes. Just to remind you, this is Will. I'm quite forgettable. Also a nerd. I think we all are, though.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I didn't. Is this a coming out thing? I didn't know I was a nerd. Is that what we came here to do today?
Maybe.
No.
Chris, it's time we have this talk. We've seen the signs. No. Grew up watching more movies and shows, like the cool, old Justice League Unlimited. And then some of the older stuff. Batman Beyond. That was a good one. Teen Titans. Loved it.
Right. As you do.
Yes. Games.
Yeah. Lots of
I
games.
I didn't say anything about games. I grew up playing games. Something's wrong with me.
It's just such a part of who you are. That
It
you
really
just
is.
thought,
I
You
just
don't
thought
even
everybody
consider it
knew.
like a
I did-
thing.
right.
I guess I also work in manufacturing / technology now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Both of them.
My job's kind of changed a lot here recently. And so, yeah.
I feel like people are going to think we're in Silicon Valley.
I almost said that when you said technology. I was like, well, that's why we live in Silicon Valley, but I didn't say it.
Hey, maybe we do.
Oh, man. Wouldn't that be an interesting idea?
Yeah, right.
So,
We don't live in Silicon Valley. We live in Corn Valley, okay?
Well, that's true. Yeah, definitely.
Aluminum Valley. We use a lot of aluminum products around here.
Aluminum Valley. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Chris, and I've read comics most of my life and also watched television. And although, to be fair, I didn't watch Teen Titans. I did watch some of Batman Beyond. I did not watch Justice League Unlimited back when I was younger. I mostly watched Batman the Animated Series and the Ninja Turtles and things like that. But I did read a lot of comics. I watched 90s Spider-Man and the X-Men some.
I feel like you're dating yourself right now.
I've actually watched it, and I'm quite a few years younger than Chris.
I've heard.
He kept mentioning those. I'm like, oh, yeah, I watched that one, too.
But
I've heard the animated series is really good. Never watched
Batman?
it. Yeah.
I own the whole series on Blu-ray. It's on HBO Max, but
Well, there you go.
if you
Maybe I
know,
can watch it
you should, because
at
it's.
someday.
I don't want to get off track, but when people debate the best Batman on screen, the answer is Kevin Conroy from Batman the Animated Series. But anyway, so I guess my point of nerddom tends to fall mostly under superhero stuff. I like fantasy. We all like that kind of stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But my job, what do I do? What do I do? I'm in training and
Management.
sure, I don't manage much
Right, but-
now.
Well, maybe.
I'm in manufacturing, training, management, and whatever they tell me to do that day.
Administration.
Is that what? Oh, that's a terrible thing to have listed. I don't administrate anything, though. Right now, I make training manuals.
There you go.
So I work on a computer, which makes me tech as well.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, most people are tech.
This is true.
But The Guys with Issues is a podcast that we came up with because Pat was in a book club, or is
I am
still
in a book club. Yeah.
And we were talking about how book clubs work, and kind of he mentioned that it would be cool to do a comic book club.
Right.
And then we were like, oh, that would make an interesting podcast. And we should invite Will, because he said it would be cool to do something with Will. And so Will goes, yeah, I'd be down.
Touched my heart, really.
You can see this was really well thought out.
So,
Nah.
but the idea behind Guys with Issues is that Will and Pat haven't read nearly the amount of comics that I've been exposed to, but they love superheroes and comic kind of stuff and cartoons and movies and all of this neat stuff.
Games.
And games.
Could
And
have put that in there.
so we were like, why don't we do a book club where we pick a different volume of different comics that are considered important works or things we think would be fun to read together, and then discuss them, discuss what we thought, just like a book club. Although Pat's book club does less of that and likes to find good places to eat, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We talk a little bit about the book, and then we just talk about other stuff, and we eat good food. So really, it's the best of both worlds for a book
It
club.
is.
Right.
It's
pretty
more
good.
about the food, though.
It really is. Yeah.
Can't blame you.
If it wasn't for lip smacks, I'd say we should include food here.
Yeah, no, we
too.
don't want to do that.
But unfortunately, it wouldn't work. So we only get half of the best world.
Right.
But that's the basic rundown, right? Like,
Basic
it's just
rundown.
meant to be a comic book club. It's not necessarily for people who know a lot about comics, but we hope that people who love comics could listen. But it also is an opportunity for people who maybe haven't read as many comics to hear other people who haven't read some of these comics. I haven't read a lot of the ones we've read so far, and we get to talk about them, and you get to be a part of it that way.
So it might be a good idea if we post somewhere what book we are reading,
I'm sure we will.
like the
Yes.
week before the episode comes out.
I figure eventually we'll have social media.
Eventually.
And for those of you listening, I'm sure we do. And at the end of this, you'll hear where you can find that.
Yeah, we haven't quite got that part figured out yet.
No. We have a Discord
We do.
that we can have private channels, because some of them are already. I have them locked. So we can have people come in and talk about comics in the podcast. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
So
Eventually.
one day,
You
will be able to tell us what to read.
In the far future.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it will be a while before this goes live.
It will. But that's okay.
So, did it? Either of you want to add anything more to the idea or to what you think the podcast is, or do you think we?
No, you pretty much nailed it.
Yep. Well, I think we've got all our bases covered.
But I did want to add something else.
Okay.
Since we were talking about Batman.
Oh.
What do you call Batman
Oh no.
when he skips out on church on Sunday? Christian Bale.
Oh,
I love it.
oh, dang it! I would have never thought of that.
So there you go. There you go. That's my one joke for the day.
For the episode.
Well, I mean, and I might come up with other jokes, but that's the actual only one joke that I'm going to tell right now.
Well, it was worthy. I hadn't heard that,
Well, there you go.
so thank you. I will share that with my wife, who will groan.
Perfect.
I know.
That's
those
really
are the
all
best.
those jokes for. Right.
You should share that in your family chat.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry.
Your dad would love that.
Oh, yes, he will.
So, next up, to round out this riveting episode of introductions, I thought it would be fun to talk about our favorite heroes. Do you guys want to do top 2 or top 5?
2.
No.
Yeah.
How about 3? Can we do 3? Can you pick 3?
It's an even.
I mean, I could probably pick 5, but the amount.
Like a heartfelt, honest. I probably could do 3.
You want to do 3?
Are we talking about just comic books?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I was thinking superheroes, but superheroes don't just come from comics.
Well, I was thinking Link.
Your dad?
No, Link.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
He could also just be a bonus one. Whatever you want. I don't care.
And my runner-up.
So, let's go around, starting with, can you guys want to go least to greatest?
Sure. We're doing 3?
If you can.
Sure.
Do you want to start with number 3? You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 is hard because I have so many. My thing's more like whittling it down. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the Ninja Turtles as my number 3.
All 4 of them.
Yeah. Well, Donatello's my favorite.
Donatello's also my favorite Ninja Turtle.
Oh, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I've only ever met like one other person besides you that Donatello was their favorite.
Well, the reason Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle is because he was the techie one.
I loved the color purple and bow stabs.
Different reasons, but yeah.
I'm more of a Michelangelo fan. But yeah.
I am not surprised at all.
Yeah.
And fun fact, most people I know who like Michelangelo really like people who like Donatello because they're like buds in the lore.
Well, there you go. It works out.
Personalities that mesh.
Let's go.
But I would say because of the fact that I grew up with it, and I've really always liked Turtles, and some of my favorite comic series that I've read over time have been, especially the newer and the original Turtle comics and stuff. So I don't know. I just like it. I think it's got longevity. It could stick around a long time. It has really now.
Oh, yeah. Is it
It's been
the
like
90s,
40 years.
The 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action movie?
Dude, I'm going to
Was
bring
one
that
of-
up on episode 2.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah, I
I
feel
watched
like-
that over and over when I was a kid. You know how
Nice.
kids will have like that
Their
one
movie?
that one movie they want to
Yeah.
watch, and their parents are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm tired of watching this."
That was
stupid
Ninja
movie."
Turtles with you?
I watched it. So
Was it the
many
first
times.
one or the
That's
second
amazing.
one?
I don't think I ever watched the second one.
So it's like the serious one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they have to like run away when the
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the second one's way more fun because parents were mad about them using their weapons, and if you pay attention, like some of them never hit anybody with weapons in the second one. But Second one's still fun. It's got Token Razor. But anyway, okay, Will.
Not you, Alexa.
That was Google, but yeah,
Or
that's
Google,
hilarious.
Alexa, whatever.
It's always listening.
Yes. Oh, wait, so you're your bottom three?
Yeah, you'll do
And then-
3, and then he'll do 3, and then we'll do 2. We'll roll it that way.
The number 3, not 3 heroes.
No, yeah.
I know
Just
my number 3 had
clarifying.
4 heroes.
So many numbers, but nah, he did. Like, I was expecting 2 more out of his mouth, and then he pointed to me. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I guess we're gonna do a pyramid. I guess.
Robin.
Long pause.
That's all right. Editing.
Yep, it is. Our
I can
best friend.
squish that up a little. I might leave a little pause.
Yeah.
Pensive
For-
moment.
pensive contemplation. I would say probably like the Green Arrow. I've got quite a bit of archery in my family that my uncle used to make.
That's pretty good.
Hand bows.
Yeah.
Hand bows. Handmade bows out
Got
of
some
wood.
of them ham bows. I usually shoot foot bow, but
You laugh, but
dude,
I've seen
those
foot bow.
videos of people shooting arrows with their feet.
Crazy.
Yeah, those are crazy.
like the gymnasts that stand on their
Yes.
hands and like
and then shoot bullseyes, and you're just like
Right.
absurd.
I don't get it.
but yeah,
Lethal.
I don't know. I feel like
Green Arrow.
there's a
Have you watched the CW's
Yes.
era? Cool.
up to a point, and then I kind of felt it was very cyclical and like its storytelling. I'm like, okay, could we? It was almost like supernatural. The story just keeps repeating. Like they lie to each other, they get into a fight, they make up, they break up, they get back together, they lie to each other. One dies for the other, and I feel like it has that kind of repetitiveness to it. Well, if you could, I mean, probably because I binge watched it, but you know, it happens.
So, this is my turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, nice. Is there a reason?
Well, he was a scientist, which I think is really cool. And then he turns into this big green monster guy
That kicks
that
butt.
pretty much can take out anything.
This is true.
Yeah, so he's pretty
I mean,
great.
some version of him, he basically can take on anything.
Right, and I really don't know much about him other than movies and stuff. But I feel like there's more than one color Hulk.
Yes.
So
There-
that would be interesting to look into at some point.
The Incredible Hulk being Bruce Banner
Right.
in his first appearance, or early days, I believe he was gray. But
I think I do remember reading
but
something about
he is typically green. But then there's a villain who's like the Red Hulk, who's sometimes his ally. If you watch Hulk Agents of Smash,
that. Sounds entertaining.
yeah, it's one of those shows that I'm pretty sure my son enjoys. But my son also would say the Hulk is one of his favorite heroes.
Hey, there we go.
So, yeah, that's good. Number 2 for me, I'm gonna say Green Lantern. This is really a toss up though. My 1 and 2 could flip flop and probably have, but at times. But Green Lantern specifically, I like Kyle Rayner. He is my favorite Lantern, but Hal Jordan's pretty high up there too. There's tons of secondary characters I like. But specifically the Jeff Johns run that like revamped all of what Green Lantern was and incorporated all the lore, and we'll probably read some stuff from that eventually on this because it is so good. If you can't enjoy space cops fighting for the existence of everything, then you got to be a little dead inside.
So, are you saying that it's more the stories than the hero that you like in second place?
So,
or
On the whole, I like different lanterns more than others for sure. But the lore, like the whole world of Green Lantern and what they are, and being like space cops and having Oa kind of as their central hub and precinct, and how their power works off of willpower and imagination, and the idea of being able to create anything just by your thoughts is really cool. So it's kind of like the lore of Green Lantern is what puts it so high. And when stories are told really, really well, in that universe, I can enjoy pretty much any of them. But the Jeff Johns run kind of created the lore. Like, it took everything that had been and different ideas and different characters and like made it into this huge space opera epic. And so I love that comic run.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I own all of it, I think. Not all issues. Some of it I have in trades.
Okay. Cool.
My turn now for number 2.
Number 2.
Probably have to roll with, it's so hard.
I know there's so many.
Forever. I don't want to seem like I'm just like a big CW fan, but I was gonna say the Flash.
was-
There's a lot of.
I was thinking
but, like,
Flash too.
Flash would be on my honorable mentions. Like, he probably would have been like
4 or 5.
5. At least
Yeah.
definitely like top 10. No question.
But yeah, like
I can enjoy a lot of Flash stories.
it was more from the Justice League Unlimited because he was actually like
Yeah.
funny.
That's Wally West. That's
Yeah.
not Barry. I don't think do they call him Barry?
I think it's Wally.
Yeah, they call him. It's Wally.
I'm
Wally's the funny Flash.
Yeah.
No, he is, and he technically
No,
is more powerful.
I agree. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Keep going.
I just love Justice League Unlimited. He I don't know, it was always just the comic relief. And I could kind of relate to that in my family because I am also the comic relief.
You also like to
Wait.
eat, and he ate a lot.
Yes.
That's why you're going to tell that joke later on to your family because
Yes.
you're comic relief. Yeah,
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
It is. So Wally West Flash, with
Yeah.
Barry close behind.
It's a race. All right. I guess my second one would be Wolverine,
Oh, nice.
just because I like his sass.
Yeah,
He's pretty sassy, especially for a Canadian.
What? He's not Australian?
Oh man, only sometimes in the movie universe, secretly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman is Australian.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know that. I don't.
You didn't know that?
There's not
I
a
mean, I
whole
know
lot.
you don't know a lot about actors.
Right. There's a whole lot I don't care about actors mostly. I enjoy the roles they play, but I mean, whatever. If I saw them on the street, I probably wouldn't recognize them.
Pat, in this room we're sitting in, why is it that you have like 47 issues of People magazine then? Oh, wait. Sorry. Those are tabletop role-playing books.
Right.
I was confused.
Yeah. I can't see how you confuse that, but yeah.
No, I also
So
like...
47 might be right.
Oh, dude, don't even count. How funny would that be?
That would be hilarious.
Be like, he's Rain Man. That's it.
Go buy a lottery ticket.
I,
Shout out some random numbers.
as a kid, back when I liked Spider-Man a lot, and because that was the era, right, with
Sure.
the Fox cartoons, Wolverine was also, as a kid, like playing on the playground, Wolverine was one of the defaults that you would pick. Because
Right.
you know what I mean? Because then, and also if you're playing pretend like that, you're like, oh, well, I can heal from anything you can do. So, like, whatever, bub.
Whatever, bub.
So for me, I know this is going to come as a huge shock to you two, especially since I wore a hat of it in today. But my number one would be Batman. And that encompasses like the whole Bat family. I really like the whole dynamic of different characters. Nightwing is my favorite of the Bat family. Well, I don't know. I love Tim Drake as Red Robin during a very specific era, not the current one.
We're going deep, listeners.
Was really good. It was like 26 issues. You got this amazing character. They did the new 52, and he was never the same. But now I like Batgirl can be really good. Like, and there's many Bat women. I was gonna say Bat girls, but that's but they all everybody has like interesting storylines and their own personal struggles, and Batman is just one of those characters that I think, besides being like one of the original characters that came out, with his ability to solve mysteries and kind of do that crime detective stuff, and his double life and what that means, and being driven by tragedy, and having one of the coolest rogues galleries ever.
Yeah, you were the one that convinced me to buy those 3 Batman books. They're
The Nightfall books.
The Nightfall books, and I
Yeah.
still haven't read them.
That's okay. We'll get to Nightfall. We'll do that.
There we go.
See some Bane and Azrael, and but yeah, I don't know. There are times where I'd say he isn't my favorite. There are times where I've said Green Lantern definitely was, but
Well, it sounds to
it
me-
always circles back. It always circles back to Batman, and he's like the one character I get my kids to. I'm like, you want to watch a cartoon show? Let's watch Batman. Like it always circles back.
It sounds to me
So.
like you like detective comics.
I like detective stories.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I don't
really point out DC. Detective stories. Yes, and that sounds like those
Yeah,
two
and Batman.
do that a lot.
That's a core.
Right.
Which is why I'm going to make a statement that might be divisive by some, but that's why I like the Robert Pattinson Batman, because it was a crime noir story, and I enjoyed that.
I also enjoyed it. Sue me.
I don't
I
feel
don't
like
think
I
anybody
need to.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I just bought a house. I don't have any money.
I think a lot of people share this opinion because I too liked that movie.
Yeah. I think it also just pays to have a well-done movie.
Yeah.
And even great movies have flaws, but they're easy to overlook when they're very well done. It's easier. I should say easier. So, your number one. Who's your number one?
Yeah,
I don't actually know the answer to this.
You know,
it's all right. I don't know the answer to mine either.
I think we should probably revisit this top tier list
After we
because
read a bunch.
After
we read a bunch, but I'm gonna say like 4 now as of this day. I'm gonna give it to Thor just because I'm a huge fan of all like the mythologies because I think those are really cool. I think that was a lot of where like all comics come from, like the old Greek and Norse mythologies. Huge inspiration for all of them. Those are all really cool, and so
Superman was based on the Judaic idea of the Messiah.
yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. Well, not on
I mean,
the podcast.
not-
I haven't talked about
But
it.
Did you know that?
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It does.
Oh.
But
What
and
I know about
he's
him.
also the first superhero ever.
I also know he has horrible video games.
he also defeated the Ku Klux Klan.
That's good.
You ever hear about that?
No, maybe.
That guy that was doing like the radio broadcast would actually like, I think he somehow infiltrated the KKK or like somebody like his producer did and would give out their secret code for that month like on air. And so they'd hear it and be like, oh my gosh, someone's like, and somehow he used like the Superman, like this is a very like terrible overview of this story.
Right.
I heard on Drunk History. That's why it sounds so horrible. It's much better on there, so go watch it on there. But Superman in real life did defeat because everybody felt because
It's interesting.
through the story they revealed like all the stupid like childish stuff they would do because it's just like a ridiculous thing, and they actually like felt so stupid for what they were doing because they heard it from an outside that most of them actually quit. And so a whole chapter of the Klan was destroyed
Truth, justice, and the American way.
basically because of Superman.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so Thor, though, we will definitely read some Thor, especially the Guy
Yeah.
Butcher stuff. That's really good. I haven't read
Yeah.
a lot of Thor outside of that, actually, so we might have to
And
check
like
some of that out.
Odin is supposed to be pretty BA.
I mean,
From like things I've seen online, it's like, oh, feats Odin has done because obviously my phone listens to conversations, and so it
Obviously.
feeds
Yeah.
like some of my YouTube things have changed to feature superhero stuff, and it's like, oh, feats Odin has accomplished in like the Thor series, and
cool.
watch some of that, and it's pretty cool.
Cool. I guess I got to pick now, huh?
You do.
I'm just going to say Professor Xavier.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, just because of, well, I really like Patrick Stewart. But no, he seems to be a father figure to a lot of other superheroes. He's really stand-up kind of guy. I didn't mean that way.
Is it? Yeah.
Ooh.
As soon as I said it, I was like, oh no.
Really? You're like, that wasn't meant to be.
I didn't mean it. But yeah, no. I like him. So there you go. He's my number one.
Nice.
now.
Cool. That's interesting. Your whole list was Marvel.
I was
Nope.
thinking about doing Superman,
That's okay.
but I was
could
like,
have done. I could have done a whole list of DC. I could have had Spider-Man. Could easily have moved up into my top 3. I've liked him longer than Green Lantern, but superheroes are just fun, right? So
Right.
it's easy for me. It's easy to feel like more excited about one than another when I'm like reading their stuff or I'm engaged in a really good story arc.
Sure.
And then you read a bad one and you go, "Oh, that wasn't very good." But that's the thing about writing comics is that different writers write the same characters over the years. Like different writers write a large library of characters. Characters have tons and tons of different writers. And some writers are just much better than others or
Right.
get certain characters more than others.
sure.
But yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. That, man, when it comes to, so you'd have like Superman as an honorable mention. Like he was
Yeah,
pretty high.
I've always liked Superman, but I guess I know more about the ones that I've talked about than I do Superman.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, in good conscience, put him on the list.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
Batman's the same way. I like Batman, but I've only learned as much as I know about him over the last year because of Chris.
me, basically. You've got to watch the animated series, man.
I really do.
That'll be like, I know you've been watching anime right now and like chilling that way.
Yes.
Batman the animated series, that you got to work that into rotation.
I didn't know it was on the HBO Max, so I'll give that a show.
HBO Max has like
Watch.
the majority of all the DC animated stuff they've done, and as Will said, Justice League Unlimited is also very good.
I'm just shocked that Will didn't say Shazam.
I thought about it.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. I'm like, he.
It really feels like he'd be up your, in your top tier hero list.
Yeah.
Just because.
He's childish.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Just
yeah,
because he's
exactly.
childish.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's full of wonder and I don't know.
He used to be called Captain Marvel. That's his original name. But it confused people.
The more you know.
And so now they call him Shazam because as they've tried to distance themselves more. But his original moniker was Captain Marvel. But yeah. Yeah,
That's fun.
I'm sure we'll talk about all kinds of silly tidbits like that,
Right.
right? Over time.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have anything else to add? That's kind of what I was thinking for episode 0, just introing who we are, why we're doing this.
No, I got nothing. We're good.
Cool.
Yep.
I think.
And so, episode 1, for those who did listen to episode 0 first, episode 1, we will be talking about Umbrella Academy Volume 1.
Right.
So, if you think you're interested in that or have watched the show or you think that we seem like moderately entertaining fellows, go see if we can carry that streak.
Technically, our streak should be 21 episodes, or sorry, issues of
21
this
issues,
podcast.
and that's it.
The average podcast lasts 20.
Sweet.
Okay, so
We got this.
well, we'll have to do something. So short boxes and long boxes are what you keep comics in. So if we do it long enough, I think a short box holds like 70 comics or something, and we'll have to do like the short box episode.
Yeah, that
so-
works. That's cool.
This was issue 0.
Issue 0.
Which is oftentimes given out on Free Comic Book Day. That's true.
We also had an issue -1, so
I'd call it 0.5. Kind of, right? Would you give it a whole -1?
yes,
Yes.
Well,
we could do 0.5 if you want.
that's just what I,
That's fine. 0.5.
it's a filler. It's secret. Never happened.
I think
So-
we need to bring up the secret episode in every. I'm sorry,
The
s-
fabled
the secret
issue.
issue in every
Yes.
episode, just to really tick our audience off.
Well, it's begun.
Yes.
Successful. We were successful. And on that, I'm Chris.
I'm Will.
I'm Patrick.
And we're the Guys with Issues. You can catch the new issue of Guys with Issues each week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists, follow along, and get to know us better.
You can also find us on Instagram at guys_with_issues and on Facebook at Guys With Issues.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener.
Do you do card tricks? Yeah.
No. I've thought about learning it, but I'm like, I don't want to ruin the magic for me.
Right, because once you know,
Once you know,
there's no unknowing.
right?
Unless you get into a car accident and hit your head really badly and you get amnesia, and then it's all magic all over again.
Right. We
What
don't
if,
want that.
what if you're in a card accident?
A card accident? Oh, man.
It could happen. Those guys, they could throw that card and stick it into the wall.